Hello, welcome to Collaborative Connections podcast sponsored by KLM Consulting Marketing and Management. This podcast is designed for small business owners and entrepreneurs looking to grow, streamline, and succeed. I'm your host, Kelly Lorenzen, business owner and passionate advocate for small and family-owned businesses. Running a business can feel a little overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. On this show, we bring together industry experts, fellow entrepreneurs, and people who have been there, done that. We are wanting to share all the tools, tactics, insights, and faux pas that we've had throughout our time as entrepreneurs, hoping that we can help you launch, uh, streamline, succeed, so you don't have to go through all the struggles we did by sharing all of our stories. So let's dive into today's episode and start building something amazing together. Welcome, April, to the show. Thank you for being on with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about you and your business.
So I am April Schaffroth, and I own a farmers insurance agency. I've been in the insurance industry for about 16 years, which is very exciting. Just kidding. I always tell people, I'm like, shopping for insurance is so exciting. And then I say, just kidding. They laugh, I laugh, and then we move into it. So I operate out of an office with my identical twin sister. So she has her own separate agency. So we just share overhead and share staff, but I love it. So I kind of always say I can insure anything you can stick a key in. So that's one company that I run, and I absolutely love it. We do individual, commercial, life insurance, the whole works, small businesses specifically. And then I have a separate company called DUI Process Experts, DPX, and we are basically a concierge to walk people through, once they've been convicted of a DUI, step by step to regaining their license. So connecting with them with those required resources, for example, like traffic survival school, ignition interlock, all those things, to really kind of shepherd them through the process to have them regain their license. So I have been doing that for about 14 years in Arizona, and we're looking to grow nationally, and I'm excited about it.
Ooh, fun. You got so many fun things, but you say not fun, but I think as business owners, we find the fun in whatever we're doing, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally. And then like for insurance, it's like low hanging fruit because people would rather get audited than to talk about insurance. And once you just acknowledge it's fun and we'll walk them through and make it a good time, then it makes it easier for people.
And you are so good at making those videos on your Wednesdays, I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, thanks. So we have had some really good luck as we have done social media. So we have done we've done it every single Wednesday we're almost at that 14-year mark. We've not missed a week, and it is just a kick. So we try to do informational, totally fun. Today we shoot them on we post them Wednesdays roughly around noon, and it's just wild because I always say the things we do for insurance, but I'm very lucky to work with an incredible team that I'm like, wiggle this, say this, do this. And so we try to make it fun and relevant, like to Labor Day's coming up this weekend. So we made just very fun, like trendy stuff, but we talk about insurance topics. And so in our agency, we only measure 1 week out for that first week. And between our platforms, we're anywhere between 30 to 50,000 views in a week, which is just wild. And it's cool because we've had really good luck as business owners. You have to kind of just try this and try that and whatever. And, especially in social media, people are so hesitant to like say, I don't know what to say or whatever. And so we just kind of got over ourselves and just get it out there. And sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes I'm like, well, it's content. And we just run with it. So we have more wins than not, but it's been pretty, really, really fun, actually.
That's fun. You make it a good time for sure.
Hey.
So quick rapid fire questions for you. Get your juice flowing so we can give some good insights and aha moments and feedback to maybe some newer entrepreneurs or they don't have to be newer, right? A lot of us goes the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So I want to get your juices flowing so we can do that. So
Sure.
tell me the ocean or the mountains?
Ocean, for sure. So one quick thing is, so my identical twin and our mom, she grew up in Old Town Scottsdale. So every year for 30 plus years, we go and we call it our sit and flip trip. So we go to San Diego, we sit on the beach and flip over every 15 minutes. have everything we can to drink, and then hit home. So we call it sit and flip. So absolutely beach. What about you? Are you beach or mountains?
I'm a beach girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
put me anywhere with water, I'm good to go. What about coffee or tea?
So I just now started drinking coffee about a couple years ago, but I'm an iced tea elitist. So I'll drink it all, but I love AJ's with crushed ice and lemon is my favorite, but iced tea for sure.
And a business tool you can't live without.
I would say social media. So, I mean, it's just a kick. I absolutely think that every small business owner should be on social media. Every business owner should be on social media. And I think it's wonderful. And there's a space for everyone. Like, I have no problem putting my mug out there, dancing, wiggling. But I have a girlfriend, she is a bookkeeper, for example, and she would rather eat this piece of paper than to put her face on social media. She still needs to be on there. So you can still be on there and just find a way that works with you. So that is a huge tool for us. And it's free. So we love it.
Yeah, that's great. Yes. And, we say to clients, you have to be where somebody's looking. So if you're not where they're looking, you don't exist to them, right? So it doesn't mean you have to pour your heart and soul 5 days, 7 days a week into something. It can be very, like you guys do, once a week. It's consistent. As long as you're consistent, I tell people you'll be good to go.
Because it's tough to run a business is the best kept secret. You know what I mean? It's very tricky to run a business that way. So the more you can shout it to the rooftops with the least amount of money out of your pocket, it's a win.
Exactly. So industry insights and trends. So business ownership for some of us is, we've been doing it a very long time, and some people are new to it. So if you could tell, besides social media, if you could tell a newer business owner something that they absolutely must do, what's one of your go-tos that you tell all newer business owners?
So I would say just kind of really go with the mentality of there's no plan B. I think no matter what industry you're in, no matter what that looks like, just know there's no plan B. So you will run into hurdles. It's not if you will run into hurdles. So just pivot as fast as you can. And I always say the phrase, running a business is you're, ready, fire, aim, and then you just make it work. And, really leverage your community, leverage your business partners, because we're all kind of, spinning around and doing what's best. But I think there's so much power into having a great community to bounce it off. So, I think just no plan B is my huge takeaway, because, if you go in that way, they're going to say, well, okay, next, now what do we got? So it makes it kind of nice.
Yeah, I love that. Then that means you can't have an out, right? Like, well, maybe I'll go back to work for somebody, or maybe I'll go, this is not going to work out. If there's no plan B, you're like, yep, this is going to work out.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people, when we come and a lot of us have had the pleasure of working for corporate America. I say that loosely, but you have a structure, you have a, someone to answer to in a time frame. I think, when you take that person, then you leave coming from corporate America to running your own business, you don't have someone that's telling you what to do, when to do it, things like that. So I think it's just a matter of gearing yourself up and going for it, and just, not stopping, because you just can't.
Yeah, exactly. And what would you say, a challenge or trend you're seeing right now, either because you help a lot of small business owners? What are you seeing in the market as far as what people are challenged with, or a current trend that's happening?
Yeah, I think especially small business owners, people are so worried about being insurance poor that they don't have anything. Which is wild. So it's very interesting. So if you're starting your own small business, no matter what industry it is, even if you work out of your home and you don't see a single client, you absolutely need to get coverage. So I think that's from an insurance perspective, you have to have it. If you have even one part-time person, you need something called work comp, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But I think that, so many people, they start this business out of the garage concept or whatever. And I have met more than not business owners who've been in the business 20, 30 years with tons of inventory who have no insurance. And it's just, you have to leverage your resources. Like, don't waste all your savings on an unpaid claim.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is so scary.
Oh,
Yeah, I would think so. It would be like driving without insurance. That doesn't seem like it's even you know what I mean? You're like, that's crazy. But
Right.
you're seeing that is really scary. Yeah. When I'm helping clients start their business, I always say make sure you have an insurance person, you have a bookkeeper. Do not do your own bookkeeping, right? Have an attorney. Make sure you're protected. Like the top three things. Do not pass go without having these.
Totally. I had did or tried for a while to do my own bookkeeping, and I literally labeled everything as office furniture, and it was ridiculous. And my CPA is like, "You're not buying office furniture at Walgreens for $8." I'm like, "Yes, I am." It was just so painful, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh!" So now I pass the baton to someone to strip that up because it's just not worth it. And then I wait till the final hour just because that's just what we do.
We always do, right?
Yeah.
Building the airplane while we fly it. That's a classic
Totally.
business ownership.
Totally.
So key lessons and your business journey. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you came from? You said you had the privilege of being in corporate America. I luckily had never had to do that. I've
Oh
always
no.
been, no, my whole adult life I've been in business ownership. So I
Hey.
never have to do that. But I hear horror stories.
Right. Totally.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and maybe some successes and challenges along the way.
Sure. I have tons of them. Both sides, but I like so I graduated from ASU and I've always been in sales and I've only had one W-2 job in my whole life for like 2 years. God bless us. I worked at the Scottsdale Culinary Institute. They were lovely and I did the finance and self-proclaimed taste tester and it was fun for that short window, but I love commission only is kind of my vibe and I love to help people. So my first big role job out of college, I was a IS and IT recruiter. So like computer people recruiting, which was ironic because I couldn't even put a page border around it. But the nice part is you don't have to do it. You just have to connect with people and put the right people in the right seats. So I was the youngest in the company and I became luckily the top performer in the company throughout the country, which is pretty cool. And it was very boiler room-ish where you couldn't get a seat. You didn't get to sit down until you made your first, like, I would say quote sheet now, but something like that. So, but I loved it. Right out of college, I didn't know anything different. So it really taught me how to hustle. So I did that. And then for just 2 years, I worked at the Culinary Institute. But then after that, I was in mortgages. So my twin sister was in insurance. I'm like, why are you selling insurance? Hindsight, I should have started then, but I did mortgages and I really enjoyed it because you help people. Like you can really, really help people, explain it to them. It's the biggest purchase they're going to have and you walk them through it. But I loved it. And back then we had a couple extra zeros on our paychecks, which was kind of fun. It was also kind of nice too, because as a woman, I was the only, I was the only female in my whole Arizona and basically West Coast. And then it was only female district manager for the whole company, which is pretty cool. So I loved it. And, you know, a lot of times people can sell, but a lot of times, at least in that industry, men sold in a different format, different way, a little more rough, and that's fine and it works. But I took a different approach and kind of really tried to help and kind of go that way. And I got a ton more just because you treat people nice and help them. Who knew?
Oh, it's like, wait, it's not that hard. It's not rocket science. So we just have to be nice and help people. Oh, okay.
Right. I can handle that. So, so I had a wonderful team and then I was a broker after that. And, so anywho, so then my twin said, you know, come to Farmers Insurance. I'm like, I don't want to, but I love it. I can't believe truly everyone doesn't be an insurance agent. Like it's fascinating to me. So, and it doesn't help to sell things or it doesn't hurt to sell things that are required by law. So it takes a guessing game out of it. So I love that part. And so I started my agency from scratch and had some really good luck on it. And I do everything. So it's nice because there's such a variety in my day. And I'm a huge believer in life insurance. So life insurance for businesses and individuals and kind of explaining coverage. And then really my DUI process or process company kind of came into fruition where I had a couple girlfriends who got DUIs, because we all got going. And it was so painful to watch them go through this. We're like, shoot. And there's so many different steps, and it's not regulated. And, especially in the industry or in Arizona, nationally it is as well. But like, it gets a bad rap because there's a lot of people who will take advantage of you. And that's definitely not my vibe. So I'm like, we got to figure this out. So that stemmed from 14 years ago to now we have a company that basically it's a full service concierge. It's the only thing like this in the whole country, which is pretty cool. So we walk them through. I partner with really vetted people who do what they say they're going to do. And it's nice because, from a DUI perspective, I say this to say this. So from a DUI perspective, it doesn't matter who you are. If you get a DUI, especially in our state in Arizona, it's very, very, very strict. You have to jump through the hoop. So I happen to insure right this moment 3 DUI attorneys who have DUIs. So if they can't get themselves out, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of like, okay, when that person, if it's a bus driver, if it's a, stay-at-home mom, or if it's a big executive, the goal is to really figure out what they need to do because their sky falls. It doesn't matter how many you have moving pieces, you have kids in sports and all the stuff. You still have to live your life. So, the difference between knowing what to do and afford what to do, a lot of times don't go hand in hand. So we help solve both of those. It's been ridiculously rewarding. It really has, because so many people, when they get a DUI, they freeze and they don't do anything. And if you go online, there's stuff on a resource on a website, but then research a website. We don't know where to go or who to do or whatever. So people don't do anything. So I partner now. We market a ton of different ways. So I work with a lot of criminal attorneys. I'm a big fan of education and prevention. And we are very thankful we are partnered with MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And it's, education, prevention, and second chances. Because I think, there's no need to be labeled any way other than, shoot, you made a mistake. Let's move past this. And that fancy word called recidivism, that's really where people learn behavior modification to say, okay, let's do it. So that's a nice part about it is myself and MAD. The whole goal is not to say drinking is bad. The whole goal is to say don't drink and drive, which is pretty cool. So we were partnered. We were the first to be partnered with Lyft 1,000 years ago, which was pretty cool. So it's exciting because we have a lot of growth. I present at we're going to spread it out more, but ASU shoot for the last 6 years. I partner with myself and we have a couple really fun criminal attorneys that we go and do a little spiel with the fraternities and sororities and kind of talk about it, because I think education, talking about it is just, half the battle. And, I'll go to events all the time where, people have cocktails. That is absolutely no problem, but you need to know, like, one cocktail, it slows your motor skills, it dims your vision. So all of those things, you just have to plan accordingly. So I think just talking about it is kind of been helpful. So I say that because it really works well and markets and blends with my farmers insurance, because we can help with an insurance part of that. And it's awesome. It's actually super cool.
That's great. So along the way, and you've been a business owner for quite a long time, can you tell us something, a hard lesson you learned that you wish no other entrepreneur would have to go through?
How much time do we have? Just kidding. I think that, yes, I think a hard lesson is 2 things. One is we get so busy being busy. And I think, that's is to grow your business and expand your business. It's very rewarding to, let me check this off my list. And you're like, oh, that's so good. And you have a clean desk for 5 seconds, but you have to keep thinking big picture, and I felt kind of new and not knowing what the heck I'm doing. I feel like that was a really nice piece to say, oh, I'm doing this and this and this, and then we're good. So, really working on your business. And then I'm a huge, so the space of the DUI space, it's not regulated. So I came from a very Midwest family where we just went and trusted you. And that's just part of what we do. Like our family doctor, who knows? I'm sure he's a doctor, but if my cousin says to go there, my aunt says to go there, we go there. And that's just, we're very loyal to a fault. We just go and do it. So I think as a business owner, who you vendor with and who you partner with, like my reputation, just like your reputation, is everything. So when I first started, like my little, salespeople, these partners I'd worked with, they were lovely and fine, and that's fine. And I just went with that instead of doing my due diligence and, how I treat people. I treat them everyone is kind of a VIP, and that's not the case with other partners. So I think that that's one big focus when you're starting, is just vet everybody. you know what I mean, really vet your vendors, vet your clients. So, you know, we always joke we have a no a-hole policy, because I'm thankful that I've been for 15 and some change years, I'm 100% referral base, which I'm very lucky for. But I say that because I work with really nice, good people, and then they mix and mingle with that. So when you're first starting out, or even if you've been in business 1,000 years and you just want the easy here's a person, just take that extra step and make sure, do they align kind of with my practice?
Yeah, that's a really big deal, because it can be burned for yourself. It can affect your brand, your business, but also if you're, in giving them to clients, it's like, oh, yeah, I always am very do my due diligence ahead of time, because it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'll be the first to hype a lipstick that I've tried once or whatever, but like people that I'm going to refer to, I'm like, okay, let's do that. So it's just easy to kind of make sure.
It does, for sure. Yeah. And like you said, don't try to do everything yourself. You're like, yes, it's great to check off all the your task list, but that's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to be major growth. I have a coined phrase that's do what you love and outsource everything else, because stick to what you are really good at and what you're really passionate about, and then make sure everybody else on your team can do everything else, because we have to have space as owners to see the big picture, to keep the growth going, that be the visionary and keep the growth going. Otherwise,
it's so true, because so many people are like, well, I can do it. Or like from an agency perspective, they're like, I don't want to pay someone, that's another whatever, 40, 50 grand, whatever that is for their salary. I don't want to pay it. But then I always tell people, like, think about how often, there we go. Think about how much more you can grow for that, how much more. So like Amy, I work with really, really, really amazing women, but Amy is our commercial specialty specialist. And so I like her, I'm more big picture. I'm more of a, hey, I'll work the crowd. She likes that fine detail stuff. So that's
exactly. Well, and I used to think, like, hire people that you could train and teach, and now I'm like, I'm just hiring everybody who's smarter than me in the particular thing they're really good at, and then you don't have to be perfect at everything. You just hire some people that are smarter than you.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And then it's fun. That's my big thing is, yes, you can definitely have on the corporate America side really good, coworkers and environment, but it's hard because you have so many out of control factors in this. So owning a business, I think that's my biggest key to success is have a blast, hire the people you want. And literally there is not a day, I'm very thankful. There's not a day since I've started, even before, that I have not had tears in my eyes laughing at some point throughout the day, because it's just fun. You're pouring your heart and soul into it. Just make it fun. And people get hesitant because they're so used to the rule box that you have for corporate America. So if you're doing it now, or if you have a staff that, for whatever reason went sideways and it's not as fun, pull it. I think people are so hesitant to pull quickly if it's not the right person in that right seat, because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want the headache of finding staff. And that's my big key to success, is find that right fit, because life is too short to horse around with fussiness and, people not doing what they're supposed to.
That's right. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
If you could go back in the first year of business, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say probably just exactly like we're doing, sub out faster. I think that's my biggest thing, is I was the person that, and we still, as business owners, we work 1 million hours, a week, and I love it. And it doesn't feel like work. So I'm not worried about it. And I'm thankful that my job, I can be in, air conditioning in my pajamas at midnight and crank stuff out. So I'm thankful for that. But I would have definitely some things out way earlier, because I'm like, oh, I could do that or that. And you can only have a certain amount of time in the day. So, I really learned to leverage that later than sooner.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as you learned it.
Yeah, totally. What would you say? What would be your answer?
I would say the finding people smarter than you, and outsourcing it sooner, the same, for sure. In my very first business, very long time ago.
That's awesome.
If you could go back to your 10-year-old self, what do you think she would be proud of?
I would say, it's funny you said, I just asked this question to someone else, which is just a kick. That's funny you said that. So I would say, I think it's cool because I've always been in sales, always kind of been a chit chatter for sure. But what I'm really, really proud of is I've kind of created two separate companies from scratch. Like the nice part is like Farmers, it's a franchise without the franchise. So Farmer sells itself, which is half the battle. So I love that. But really creating my book from scratch, growing it, being referral based is I'm very thankful. And that's exciting because it's just kind of a cool legacy thing that I have two little kids that I can do. And then my DPX gig, it's pretty cool because it's been a concept that I've wanted to do for so long. And the fact that I get to talk to people and they're like, oh my gosh, that's the best idea. So to create something out of nothing is awesome. And where I want it to grow is going to be so cool. So my goal is, when you think of rideshare, most people think of Uber. So when you get a DUI, when you think of DUI, the goal is for them to think of DPX and say, here's your one-stop shop. So I'm not going to stop till that happens.
That's awesome. It is so fun to hear people's big, audacious goals, right? And then see it come true is even more fun. We get to do it every single day.
I think that's what's nice because I love to refer to you for that reason. I think you have such a niche with your company of to segment it out. And, what I like is your onboarding approaches, talking to figure out what they need and what that looks like. They may not even know what they need and what that looks like. So I think that that's a really nice gift for you to say, hey, small business owner, wherever you are in that journey, talk with you and your team because I think it's super helpful.
Yeah. Well, and my bigger purpose and my underlying why is the driver is making sure small businesses have a fighting chance at success. So our next generation has the opportunity to own small businesses. I mean, I come from my grandma was an entrepreneur.
Really?
My grandpa on the other side was an entrepreneur. My parents were entrepreneurs. My husband and I have been entrepreneurs. So it's like my kids don't really have a choice but to be entrepreneurs. So I'm like, I got to make sure that that's even a possibility when they're old enough to own businesses so if I have some say in it by helping all these small businesses, like, come on, I'm going to help you stay afloat. I'm going to help you succeed because I want the next generation to even have that thing. It's like, it's a huge driver for me. So
I love that. I think that's so important because I always tell mine, I have a 14 and 11-year-old. I'm like, don't you want to sell insurance? They're like, no. I'm like, fine. But at least I'm like, here's this, we can start that. And, I love that. I think that's awesome. And my sister and I we're going to launch in October. We're doing a third gig called Post with Purpose. And it's basically teaching small businesses how to leverage social media with whatever they're comfortable with instead of like saying, do your razzle dazzle, do it. But I think that there's such a need for that. So it's cool.
That's great. Yep. We always are as entrepreneurs, we're the inventors, the visionaries,
Yeah.
and then we need people to be the implementers. So that's why that's what our favorite part is, being the implementer to all the fun ideas.
I know, that's so cool.
Somebody called me their balloon holder, right? Like, let me hold
That's a great analogy. I love that. You should make that as a logo. That's a very good idea.
So tell me, a lot of times clients come to me and they figure out like business development is so many things, right? And one of the things we teach them is collaborations and communities and networking and being a part of things bigger than just themselves. They're siloed, they're an entrepreneur, they're all in their own world. And I say, you have to come out of that and be a part of things,
Right.
Have a networking group, be a part of an organization, serve on a nonprofit board or, help nonprofits in some way. Can you tell me about some fun organizations that you love that maybe other entrepreneurs could get involved in?
Absolutely. And I love that you have that phrase because my kind of mantra is to build your agency or business in the community and not just be a business in it. I think you have to be a part of the community, do fundraisers, do drives, do something that whatever your passion is, step on the gas and you have to give back. So I really, really love that you view that point because that's such a huge deal for us. So we do a handful of things actually. So nonprofit and really giving back is kind of my my why. I love it. And you make such a difference. And I think that's so cool is it doesn't have to be hard. I think a lot of times people say, I want to, but I don't know how, or I want to, whatever. So we have had success now. It's really pretty flattering where we do tons of fundraisers throughout the year, and it encourages small business owners to, even if it's just to, I say this for example. So we do a water drive. It's our 9th annual Salvation Army water drive that we go to Maryville. And I do that specific location because in that community, there's so many people who don't have cars. So they go and drop off water to houses, and there's so many houses that don't have electricity. So the impact is a little bit greater there. But what's nice is we now started with like my twin and I with, making these silly videos. And, we always say for every like of our video, we'll donate a bottle, or every share, we donate a case. So it sounds silly, but for the person on the other side, if they hit like, then they're like, oh, I'm doing something. So it's just that positive modification, positive behavior rewarding. So we started that. And so now it's really taken off. So we have like a box truck donated. We have like 3 to 4 pallets depending on the year. So we make a huge difference on that. But then what's really fun is we did a bike drive 3 years ago for the community, and so many people say, well, I want to do a bike drive, and so they started their own bike drive, which is just super awesome. And then our office is in North Phoenix, so kind of I-17 and Carefree, and it's called North Hills Food Bank. And where our location is they have like Black Canyon City and Cave Creek, and the bus stops and Happy Valley. So for anyone who's not in Arizona, the bus stop is like a 10-minute drive south of us. So to have any access to food is ridiculous. And especially like where we are, there's a lot of Black Canyon City, there's a little bit more of an older community, and for kids. So we are a huge believer in, especially North Hills Food Bank. So we do a drive a minimum of once a year, and we go and we have, my twin we each have 14-year-olds, we each have 11-year-olds. So we have free labor. So we give them bags and we go drop off. And so what I do is I really try to make it easy. So I drop off a bag of like, here's 1,000 things you can do, put it in your doorstep, call me and I'll come pick it up, which is pretty nice. So we just make it easy, and then it makes the person who donates feel good. So even if they donate a box of mac and cheese and that's the only thing they've done for the whole year, what a difference. And so I think rewarding that is huge. And we always try to do whatever our drive is. We always have an incentive to say, if you donate, your name goes in a hat for blah, blah, blah. And it's cool because people are like, oh, because you make a difference. And I think so many of the people in the community are waiting for someone else to do that. And they're like, well, I'll do it. But we're trying to teach, especially our kids, we're trying to teach them, don't wait for the next corporate, whatever, be that person, make that change. And it's just as cool because you can make a really big difference. So I say that. And then networking wise, we're part of a very lovely networking group called No, which I'm super thankful for. And then I have been very involved with, it's called the Scottsdale Women's Council of Real Estate Realtors. And so I've been with them this is my 10th year, and it's wonderful. So anyone in the real estate industry, and men are 20% of our membership is men, I would say the smart ones join. Because if I were a guy, that's the first thing I could do. And it's nice because it's a national organization. They have a whole bunch of different ones in Arizona. I am a part of Scottsdale. And you can have what's called strategic partners. So anyone within the real estate industry, as well as real estate agents. And it's a really wonderful way to kind of, if you're new to networking or you're not sure what the heck to do, that would be a really good place to kind of put your toe in the water.
Yeah. And you talked about No briefly. So it's KNOW for those people listening, No Women. And that's a great national company that, for visibility wise. So yeah, that's been fun to get. I mean, that's where we met. So how about that?
That's awesome. I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. It's just super awesome.
I know it's everything. Being an entrepreneur, there's so many people that don't have anybody to talk to, right? They're siloed. They feel siloed, right. And getting involved with an organization like No, or any industry organizations like your the realtor thing, it gives you other people to talk to about your business because they're going through the same thing. Right. They're going through similar things.
Yeah.
And so it's necessary. Get out of your own way, go do the networking, go be a part of your community, go, volunteer at nonprofits. I'm on the board of Girls on the Run. And we have a big fun brunch coming up. So if anybody wants to come to brunch, that is happening in September. But just being involved it's such a nice to give back, to your community, and then have people to lean on when you need to. Sure.
And I think that's a perfect example, because I think relationships. So, you can run your business 1,000 different ways, but the type that makes it meaningful and really valuable for everyone is the relationship. So that's where I have been very thankful, is everyone. It's just relationships. So like if I go to, a networking, if there's a million insurance people, whatever, you just find someone that you can connect with and say, hey, I'd love to take you for coffee, and just do it that way. Cause I think that's where the fun part is. And, we all at this point kind of know, like, if you tell me you're in accounting, I got, and I know what that looks like, but then you get to know about them. And that's the nice part about it, is you're like, oh, and then you connect, blah, blah, blah. So I've had just a ball by doing the fun stuff.
It is.
By lead, just have a good time and make a difference.
It doesn't feel like work at all when you get to be around people that, are loving, kind humans. I've been so lucky to have all of our clients, our team, and now, these groups be such loving humans. So it makes all the difference. So we are getting close to out of time. So I want to highlight any, aha moments along the way, insights that you can share, that you tell other fellow entrepreneurs, business owners, that they, should know. Anything you can think of?
Yes. So I would say, I think the biggest piece is, start with, like, as a business owner, no matter what you're selling, start with yourself. So if you, for example, if you're doing insurance, so make sure you have the right insurance coverage, just make sure you have life insurance, make sure you have the right limits. Or if you are, whatever that looks like, start with yourself and always kind of create your house first and then go out there. Because so many of us are running on empty because we're like, oh, I got to do this. And then you're like, oh, for insurance is just an easy example, but like, oh my gosh, I have no general liability, or my option, whatever. Yikes. You know what I mean? So really start with yourself and make sure to position yourself to, just like you mentioned, I'm a huge, huge, huge believer, and you want to do, as a small business owner, my recommendation is really to focus in, spread your name everywhere, of course, get a social media page, but really more so like do what's industry only. So if you're going to a networking event, the low hanging fruit is to start with. If you're the only chiropractor, the only whatever, go to those first. So you have a whole room that can help utilize you, build resources, build connections. I think that's nice. So many of us, the easy is to go to chambers, which are wonderful and they serve a purpose for sure. But especially if you're getting your foot out there saying, I'm here to do it on my own, I'm ready to go, make those coffees and make those, networking events, industry only. For me, that's been a huge difference.
Yeah. It definitely makes a difference. All of our companies that we've owned, we've built through networking and referrals. It's so much easier to build relationships than, to do all the other things. So yeah,
totally. That's my favorite part. And then I'm like, then you bring up the trigger word QuickBooks. Then I slip it out. That's fine.
Somebody else has to do that.
Someone thinks it's fun, not me.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be the face, as business owners, I teach people, you have to be the face of your company. People want to do business with people that they really like, because there's a million of everybody out there, right? So people that you want to work with, that you get along with, that you can relate to. So that's why getting out there is that's really true. So tell me, for listeners, all of the things that you guys do at your insurance agency, in case people want to, know more and contact you and your website.
I would love that. Absolutely. So my website is Insurance in AZ. So insurance in, like, abbreviation for AZ for Arizona.com. And with farmers, so own a farmers agency, but the nice part about it is farmers is really flexible. If we cannot insure whatever need you're looking for, I can broker it out. So there's really not anything I cannot do, which is really exciting. And I know insurance is the hot topic all pun intended with, for example, with this California fires and things like we're in monsoon right now. So all of those different aspects, it can make insurance crazy. And I think, home insurance is a very big hot topic right now. And if you have what's called a home claim, it's not exciting. So, work with a professional like myself or work with a professional agent to brainstorm, because there's so much value to say, hey, shoot, what's your thoughts? It's raining in my living room, or, this person happened or whatever. Just brainstorm with someone, because that's the nice part about it is with myself, like you can get the exact same product I sell on Geico or Progressive. They're lovely, but you don't have a real person to kind of brainstorm with. So that's part of it. So we insure anything. So from the personal side, life insurance, auto, home, the toys, all that good stuff. For commercial, we do business, work comp, we do bonds, we do really, and something called an umbrella, we do all of it. So it's been nice, and we can insure big to small, anything in between. So it gives us tons of flexibility.
Oh, so nice. It's nice when you can come to a one-stop shop. That's why we created KLM, because in all of our other businesses, we couldn't find somebody who thought like a business owner, who could actually implement on the projects, on the marketing, on the operations stuff for us, like business owners, with that in mind. So we're a one-stop shop on that end as well.
For you, what would you say your like big success of industries? Do you have an industry that you really thrive at that you kind of figured out, or do you have any things that you like, oh my gosh, this is where we're really great at?
Yeah, our 70% of our clientele are health, wellness, medical, because we owned a medical practice and a DME company, Durable Medical, and then 30% is in all the other small businesses, professional services, home services, stuff like that, marketing agencies, because they know I know what I'm doing.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun to get to help people, just like you said, like as long as we can cover each other, right? As long as we can protect each other and cover each other, it makes it every day go by so fast. My husband and I tease like, wait, is it the end of the day again? Or weren't we just here 5 seconds ago?
That's awesome.
It goes way too fast. Well, it was a pleasure speaking to you and getting
pleasure
to know you and your business. And
I'm so thankful. This was so awesome.
I'm sure people got great, lots of takeaways. Surround yourself with as many possible community people as you can. Donate your time, donate your money, and build communities, I think is a good lesson for everybody.
And have a blast. That's nice.
And have a blast and have fun with whatever you're doing, right? If we don't laugh every day, what the heck are we doing?
Right, exactly.
We've been listening to Collaborative Connections podcast, sponsored by KLM Consulting, Marketing and Management. We specialize in helping small business owners like you simplify operations, improve marketing strategies, and build strong partnerships so you can focus on what you do best. And if you're looking to delegate or automate tasks, our KLM team help you free up time and reduce stress. Nice to see you. Take care.
Thank you. Talk to you